Welcome in, homie. In this video, I'm gonna give you 3 things I wish I knew before I gave my life to God. Okay, let's get straight into it. Number 1, God won't just fix you, He'll break you down first. You think when you first surrender yourself to God that there will be the immediate peace, but it's not quite that simple. God will literally break you down piece by piece before He grants you with the gifts and before He builds you up to be able to receive those gifts, because the real process starts with being undone. Whether that's mindsets, friendships, habits, all those old ways have to be completely broken down and destroyed before you can re-enter into your new life with God. Are we serious? Are we actually for real? Get on get. I thought that the second I gave my life to God, everything would just instantly be better, and that was it. Everything would be better, everything's joyful, there's nothing to work on, it's just a fix-all. But in reality, He started to break me down and expose all my traumas, all my weaknesses, and had to show me relationships that I might have thought were good for me at the time, but in reality they were just taken away from who God truly wanted me to be. So then once I realized that He was building me up to be the man that He wanted me to be, then I truly could feel that peace that I thought that I would get initially just giving my life to God. But in reality, I had to work through God, and He had to reveal a lot of things to me that eventually brought me to where I am now, walking in my faith with Him. And the scripture for number 1 is John 15:2. It says, He cuts off every branch that does not produce fruit, while every branch that does produce fruit, He prunes so that it may be more fruitful. So I took that as even when you're doing good, God still prunes you. That means that He'll cut off things that you thought you needed just so He can show you who He actually created you to be. Number 2 is you're going to lose people that you thought were permanent. Now, that can kind of tie in to number 1, but I do think it deserves its own point, just for how important that it actually is. Because when you change, your circle shifts. And that can be hurtful at first, until it is ultimately revealed to you why that is the case. And sometimes it takes longer than you thought for God to truly reveal why certain people are no longer meant to be in your life. Because to be honest with you, bro, not everyone can walk where God is taking you. Some people were only meant to know the old you. Some of these people were meant to be part of your old self. They were part of your old habits, your old thought process, your old mindset. And and the Lord does talk about surrounding yourself with people that are of the same yoke. And that truly ties into this, because much as it probably hurts for people to leave your life that you originally didn't think they ever would, and then ultimately they do, in order for you to level up, to get to that next point, that next level in your life and your relationship with God, He has to remove certain people from your life that are honestly holding you back. And I know that's, in a way, that's not what you want to hear, but they are. And ultimately, God's will be done. And, and it'll hurt at first, but it's necessary for you to be able to level up within your walk with God. Scripture for number 2, Luke 14:26. If you want to be my disciple, you must, by comparison, hate your father, your mother, your wife and children, yes, and even your own life. Otherwise, you cannot be my disciple. The verse does seem super harsh until you realize it's all about priority, not hate. It's about priority. When you come to put Jesus first, not everyone will fully understand. And because of that, some people naturally fall off because they were never meant to follow you in the first place. Number 3, you'll question everything, but that's part of you getting closer. When number 3 happens, doubt sets in and temptations won't disappear. When you start to get closer to God, there will be multiple moments where doubt will start to set in, where you question on this, like on a basic level, you'll question if maybe this is like if you're doing the right thing, or you'll question if. And I think what allows that to set in too is when you give yourself to God, you just think that temptation will just somehow disappear or get easier. It'll be easier to resist temptations, to sin and to worldly things. But then you quickly realize that that's not the case. Sin doesn't disappear at all. In fact, sometimes it even feels like the temptation to sin is stronger when you give yourself to God. At least at first, until you're able to be more in your word and be able to know what scripture to use, combat sin and temptation. Because ultimately faith is refined in the wrestle. That's why you hear people talk about a lot of it like wrestling with God. Because ultimately it does feel like that, or just wrestling with faith. In general, sometimes it does feel like a constant battle, and because you're not going to win every single time. I mean, you're going to have those wins. Those wins are going to feel good, but it's not going to happen every single time. So that's why it feels almost as if a constant wrestle with God and temptation and sin. But that's ultimately why we need Jesus. That's ultimately why we need God. That's ultimately why we need him in the first place, is to be able to do that, because we can't do that on our own as much as we think we can. It's impossible. It's impossible for a moral human to be able to compete up against things of this world, especially sin, and especially with flesh. Because for me, no one told me how confused that I would feel on some days. But I learned that God isn't afraid of my questions, of my doubt, as long as I'm going to him and asking him and having him reveal to me the things that he wants to reveal to me, or that he needs to reveal to me in order for me to continue to grow in my faith. Because he actually invites questions. He invites them. And he asks for that. There's never a dumb question with God, even as dumb as you think it might be. Well, because that's how relationship starts, with you asking the hard questions that you don't know the answers to, because sometimes we think we know all the answers, when in reality we don't even know half of them. So when I filmed this next sequence of the video, the sun was completely down, so it was like pitch black, so you can barely see me. So the rest of the video is just a bunch of B-roll over top of the original audio. And the scripture for 3 is James chapter 1, verses 2-4. Consider it a great joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you experience various trials, because you know that the testing of your faith produces the endurance. And let the endurance have its full effect, so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. You start to question everything when life starts testing your faith. But God uses the questions, the doubts, to build real endurance inside of you. And that's where the closeness with God truly starts. So, a fairly short list. Those are the 3 things that I myself personally wish I knew before I gave my life to God. Now, obviously, there's a lot more things I can't, this is just 3 at the moment. And maybe for future video, I do 5 things, maybe up to 10 things. But I think this is a good starting point for anyone else who is in the baby steps of their faith, or who is curious to get deeper in their faith. And I don't want any of this to be like something that scares you away from your faith, because no way at all, because God still invites us all to join him and have a relationship with him and be able to grow with him so we can fully bear the fruits that he has gifted us. Of course, there's going to be struggle with your faith, but that's the invitation that God gives us. That's the invitation that Jesus gives us, to be able to fall and be able to fail and be able to get back up every single time. So yes, there's going to be hardships, there's going to be doubt, there's going to be all the worry, and there's going to be times where you question yourself and everything around you, but that's part of the process of God, and that's part of constantly growing in your faith and growing your relationship with God in every way. So that was 3 things that I wish I knew before I gave my life to God. If you took any value from this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below what you wish you knew before you gave your life to God. More videos to come. Peace out, and God bless.